Hello, I'm Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels, and today we're going to be working on the Zebco 202. And yeah, I know, to a lot of people this is a nothing reel, but to people who are collectors and people who grew up fishing with these little Zebcos, hey, they were the world. My dad always considered them an inferior reel, and so he kind of passed that idea on to me. So when I was 7, I got my Johnson Century reel, and I got to move away from the Zebco 202 because that was the little kids reel. Well, you know what? Up until that time, that 202 was my top dog reel, and this one is functional, but barely. You can move it. It will move, and but it doesn't move very well. So it also has no anti-reverse, and I believe it should have, if I remember correctly. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this one apart, and this is going to be, I'm doing several reels tonight. I'm doing the 202, I'm doing the Daiwa spinning reel that was eat up with corrosion. I'm doing a Kmart Sport Fisher 200, and I'm also doing a Martin Miracle-Matic 500. All of these reels are in bad shape and sticking pretty bad. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to take them apart and I'm going to be putting them into some kind of a soak, one type or another. I think this reel is going to end up just soaking with PB Blaster. I think that will be enough to loosen everything up on it. But I want to take it apart and let it just soak. Now, I probably could get this reel running in about a half hour, 45 minutes. But the idea here is to make things a little easier on whoever would come next. So we're going to take the cover off. We're going to disassemble this reel. Now I'm going to spray it down with PB Blaster, and I'm going to put it in a bag and let it sit for at least 12 hours so that it can get cleaned up easily, and see if it isn't a lot easier to clean that way than scrubbing with wire brushes and everything else trying to get the old caked on grease out. So that's the direction we're going to go with Young Martin's Reels tonight. Okay, we've got the spinner head off. We're going to pop this E-clip off. Now, I did learn something interesting this week. I never knew it. We've been talking about E-clips and C-clips. This actually is truly an E-clip, and the reason being, E-clips have this tab, and this tab, whereas a C-clip only has this tab and this tab, but it's just a straight bar over here. So this actually is an E-clip. So we've removed the E-clip, and we're going to slide off the spool, and that line's all going to come off of there. Okay, and if you look, the shaft still comes in and out, but it really doesn't want to move very well. So now we'll slide this up and out. Nope, we're not going to do that yet. We still have to take off the handle. Okay, handle's off. Now this should all come out. Now I could force all this out of here, but I don't want to do that. I want to gently take it all and clean it. So what we're going to do, there's our drag adjustment there, and that's really pretty amazingly simple. If you've never looked at the drag on a 202, it's just simply a cam wheel that pushes down on a lever, which causes this end to push up harder, or down harder against the spool. So that's that. Now let's see. There's our anti-reverse, which should be working, but it's not. So I say we're going to take all this and we're going to put it in a Ziploc bag, and we're just going to spray it with PB Blaster and see how it turns out. We're going to take the pieces one by one and set them into the bag. Now, people have been recommending that I use PB Blaster, and I have never used it before. So I bought a can this week, and it was actually half the price of WD-40. So we're going to give it a try and see how it works on these parts. See if I like it as much. Already I can tell you I don't like the smell. Wow, that's really strong. And I do these fishing reel repairs in the house, so my wife is probably not going to like the PB Blaster. So this may be a short-lived experiment with it. It has a very strong smell, whereas the WD-40, I've been using it for months in here now, and she's made no comment whatsoever about smelling it. Well, I think that's going to be different when it comes to this PB Blaster. All right. Let's zip that closed and hope that that Ziploc bag keeps the smell inside there. And we'll let that one sit. Okay, so that's another project. And we will come back to you in your video. You will just step back as I'm taking it back out of the bag and starting again. Okay, first off, let me apologize for all the noise that we're going to be dealing with. I've had to move this process outside. I used this PB Blaster in my house, and it stunk the house up so bad that my wife demanded that I take this mess outside and not bring PB Blaster back into the house. So we won't be using any more PB Blaster after this process. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take these parts out, and I've had them soaking for a day in PB Blaster. I had to double bag them to keep from stinking up the entire house. But I'm hoping that it, at least the smell of it, has done a fine job of cleaning everything up, which I believe it probably has, as strong as it smells. For those of you who recommend to me, hey, Rick, you need to use PB Blaster, it's a lot better than WD-40. If it cleans 10 times better than WD-40, I don't care, because it stinks. And I don't want to use something that stinks like that inside my house. So we're going back to the WD-40. Hopefully it can get this PB Blaster smell off of these parts, so that I will at least be able to return the reel to my house when all is said and done. And I do apologize for all the outdoor noise that we are experiencing. Okay, now that this has been soaking, let's see if it will come apart reasonably well. Okay, we're going to slide that piece out of the way, and hopefully this piece will slide around. Good. Okay, and then this piece will slide out. Okay, well, that's good. Now we should be able to slide this lever over like so, and slide this piece out. Yeah, both of these pieces are really gummed up. I don't see that the PB Blaster did anything for softening that up any better than what I've ever seen WD-40 do. Now we're ready to assemble. We're going to start off with your base plate here, and we are going to lubricate the main gear assembly. And slide it back in. All right, now that's a tight tolerance, so most of that grease actually comes off when you slide it in. So here's what I'm going to recommend we do. Oh, can't do that. All right, it's a close tolerance hole. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put some grease inside the hole as well, because most of the grease slid right off as we tried to insert the shaft. So let's put the main gear back in now, and now the entire hole is greased and not just the end of it. With that done, we can go ahead and grease up the axle assembly. And again, because it scrapes it off, let's go ahead and grease inside the hole. There we go. That way, when we insert the axle shaft, it's going to be well lubricated all the way. Go ahead, put grease on the main gear assembly. Rotate this piece back around and rotate this piece back around. Ah, see this arm right here, and this wasn't this way when I opened this reel up. Lift this up just slightly. Let's move this over out of the way. Lift this up ever so slightly and slide this assembly over, and I believe, there you go, that should drop into that slot like that. That's your anti-reverse. See how it works? Okay, then you bring this guy back around, just like so. And that keeps it from backing out. All right, that's all reinstalled. If you want to check and see how it works, put your handle on, go ahead and rotate it, and you can feel it turn. Now, because I've used grease instead of oil here and here, it makes this reel a little tighter. All right, but it is well lubricated. It's not going anywhere. You could take it back apart and put oil there instead of grease, and it would turn easier. But would it have less lubrication or more lubrication? No, it would just make it easier to turn. All right, with that done, we can go ahead and slip this part back. Well, let's go ahead and put just a little bit of grease on this cam for the drag. You just need it on the cam. Once you've got it on the cam, anywhere else that you've got it there, you can go ahead and wipe it off. It's just excess at that point, as long as it's on the cam. All right, spool in. Oh, there's why. All right. Well, I can't hardly see if we got decent lighting or not. I hate working outside. Okay, the spool was not down all the way. If you lift this drag, then it gets in there. Hear it now? Okay, before it was sitting like this, and that's not doing anything for a drag. Lift it up, slip it in. Now you've got it on, and now you can adjust your drag. Now let's put it back in. With that done, we can reinstall the E-clip. that snaps in. Reinstall your rotor. Put the nut on, tighten it down. Okay, all that's together. Let's run the string back through the cap. There we go. Tighten it. Okay, drag tightens up just fine. Okay, this handle's slightly bent. Let's see if we can fix that. All right. Line release works beautifully. Line winds in, reverse. Your anti-reverse works fine. All right, all parts of that reel are now functional. Still smells like a chemical factory, so I may end up taking it apart and cleaning it with some Dalgard bathroom cleaner or something, just to try to get the smell out of it. I will not be using PB Blaster on any more of my fishing reels. I don't care how badly stuck they may be. The smell is not worth it. There is your Zebco 202. Nice vintage reel. And if you like what you saw here today, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hey, maybe you're a big PB Blaster fan. Then that's fine. Be a PB Blaster fan. You can dislike it. Just let me know why. And if you'd like to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to get notifications, hit the little bell beside the subscribe button. And for now, this is Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.